All right. We're going to give people a little bit more time to get in before we start the lesson. And don't forget, we are on Chapter 5, and just to have a brief review of what a document looks like that is a business document, you can go to page 125, take a look at the graphic right there. You can also read the content on page 124 all the way through 126. It's got explanations for stuff, why things are there, what they're used for, that kind of stuff. Okay. So I'm going to push this off to the side a little bit. Boy, that just does not. Show up quite as well as I'd like for it to. Come on, people in the chat. Let's go online, kids. Hurry up. Okay, so let's get started with a little bit of stuff here while we're waiting for everybody to do. Remember what we talked about the other day. There are certain parts to a business letter that you should have on there because they mean stuff and that people will notice how formal and impressive your documentation is, and they will want to work with you because they fear you. Just kidding. All right, so first off, you have your return address up here, which is your address. This is your address so that if in case they need to write something back to you or send something to you, they will know where to send it to. The date tells people what day this was. When you go to a court of law, they will ask you, like, when did you send this? Did you give them a reasonable amount of time to respond? And you can say with the date that you show on your documentation, well, sir, we sent this to them on February 18th, 2017. It is now June 18th, 2017. I believe that, that many months is an appropriate amount of time for them to respond, and that's why we're initiating legal actions against them. Okay, certified mail is basically a thing that you put in there only if you sent this via the postal service or some other kind of mail delivery service, and it's like, we definitely know that you got it because this company can verify that it arrived at your location. Okay? Boy, it does not want to give me the activity. All right, the inside address. The inside address is the address of the person. Out of the way, word. Is the address of the person you are sending the documentation to. Salutation is the little dear Mr. or Mrs. part. Okay. Boy, It just does not want to go. Okay. You can put a subject in there for a quick overview of the thing that you are about to be talking about. Out of the way, word. Now, after that is the body of the letter. That would be the part where you talk about things to people. First off, you want to introduce yourself and say why you're talking to them. Next, you want to explain to them what it is the situation is. And finally, there should be some kind of call to action where you list out the things that you need that person to do in order to stop bad things from happening. Okay? Hey, it looks like we have people in the chat now. Yay. I'm going to go ahead and present the window now. Okay, so that the people in the outside world can see. Okay, folks who are appearing in the chat now, basically, let's make sure to put our names in the chat just in case, so that you can prove that you were here. We're just going over parts of the letter, return addresses. That's your address, just in case they need to send something to you. The date, that is saying that this happened at a particular time. Therefore, when you go to court, you can basically say, hey, I totally sent this at this time, and they should have responded by now. This certified mail thing is basically something you say whenever somebody has sent something that the mail carrier basically says, yes, it definitely got delivered at this time. The inside address is the address of the person you are writing to. It includes their name, their full name, their title, if you know what it is, the company that they're working for, if you're sending it to a company, the physical address of the people, and the city, state, and zip code. The salutation is the dear person. Never put in dear first name, like dear Bob or dear Jose or dear Lucy. That is just way too familiar and basically says, I'm your buddy, not I'm the guy you owe money to. You can throw in a subject to basically say what this letter is about, preparing them for what's going on. Then the body of the letter is where you state your business. Finally, you have a closing. Sincerely is there. Sincerely is a little bit overused in my opinion. There are other words besides sincerely that you can use. There is you press enter 4 times. There should be 3 blank spaces in between the sincerely and the name of the person writing the letter. That allows you to have some room to sign physically your John Hancock, they say, your actual physical handwritten signature. Okay. Then you have the typed up version of your name, because if you have terrible handwriting, no one will know who sent them that letter. Then you have the job title, your job title, initials. Then you have enclosure. If you sent anything with this letter, there is a document there. In the document, it's saying what got sent with this letter in the envelope. And anybody who you also sent this letter to, they are listed as people you sent this letter to. So, for example, if I send something to, let's say, Mr. Matakin, okay, I write a letter to Mr. Matakin saying that I need to have a new monitor because these old monitors are broken and they suck. I'm going to also copy my department head, Mr. Mario Garcia, the guy who does the MCTV stuff. I'm going to copy him on that because he also needs to know that I need new monitors. Okay, so those are the kind of things that we put in a business letter. Now, the book talked about that being a full block style letter where everything is on the left-hand side, the left-hand margin. Okay, and a modified block letter. These things are all on a tab stop, a left tab stop, but they're over to the right-hand side of the page. So you got the return address, the date, the closing, the signature, and the job title. All of those things are pushed over to the right-hand side of the page, not all the way to the right, but with a left tab stop somewhere about the 3.5 or the 4-inch mark. Okay, that makes it a modified block letter. Now, I would like to do a little exercise with you. I would like to do a practice letter. Okay? And afterwards, we are going to do a letter that you will come up with your own stuff and you will write your own letter. Okay? And you can actually use this letter out in the world. Okay? So, I suppose. Just a second while I pull up that Word document. All right, so we've got this thing here where we're going to send a letter to me, your teacher. Okay? And I will go ahead and post this to the classroom now. Just a second while I get it there. This is a letter. It's a lesson that's going to be in a letterhead kind of format we could do, but just we're going to do a basic version of this instead of a letterhead variety version of it. We're going to go with a 3.5-inch mark tab to do the things, and we're going to write a letter to me, your teacher, saying things that you like, things that you don't like. Okay. So I have given my address for the inside address. We're going to use a salutation, and then we're going to type up 4 paragraphs talking about some of the things that we have done or the things that we have seen in class and stuff like that. Okay? And I want you to go ahead and do your own stuff with this. I'm going to do some things to show you what to do, but then I'm going to give you an opportunity to put in your own text and documentation while we're at it so that you can have something that you've worked on that's your own. Okay? It's always nice to be able to do your own work and think up your own things. I like to give you guys the opportunity every now and then to branch out and be creative and stuff like that. Okay? So I'm going to put this side by side. Okay? Oh, we got too many things running today. Just a second. Come on, computer. We'll try and get a new document going. All right, so give yourself a blank document as well by going to File, New. When you go File, New, it will pop up with a new document, preferably off to the side, possibly cascaded. Cascaded means that you have one thing here, and then you've got a slightly up, slightly down version that comes on top of it. That's called cascading windows. Another way to get a real quick new document is hold down Control and press N for new. Okay, if you do that real quickly, you can pop a new document up super fast. Okay, for the people in the chat who can't read this very well, this document is now uploaded to the Google Classroom, and you can see it there. All right. Now, so let's go ahead, and first thing we want to do is let's do that thing that we did yesterday with the no spacing style. That gives us a nice, tight, compact document. Okay, no spacing before or after the paragraph, single spaced instead of this weirdo spacing that Microsoft likes to do, which is like 1.15, which is nonsense. I don't know why Microsoft has that on there. It's kind of silly. Okay, we're not going to create letterhead on this assignment. We're just going to go ahead and do some tab stops. So for the first thing, we need to do a left-handed tab stop at the 3.5-inch mark. So you already have left-handed. It's that L that's right here on your tab stop selector. So now just go to the 3.5-inch mark on your ruler. Remember, it's on the bottom side of the ruler, not the top side. Click on that, and anytime you need to, you can press tab, and it goes right over. Okay, it goes right over to that spot. Come on, computer. Work with me here. Okay, so this address is my address personally. This is the inside address. So you, if you're going to write a business letter, you will need to type in your address that you are sending stuff back to. Brandon, is there a question? Brandon, you got a question? Okay. Well, Remember, this is your documentation, so you should provide your own answers. All right, we're going to go ahead and make this because we have the tab stop, this now becomes a modified block version. So you can press tab, and you can type in your name. For the purpose of this exercise, I will be Bob Ross, and we're going to paint some happy little trees. I will say Mr. Bob Ross. That's my name. Press enter, press tab again. And let's say that I live on 123 Main Street. Now you can put your actual information, or you can put Bako information like I'm doing right now. This is a practice exercise, so it really doesn't make a difference to me. And we could say San Antonio, Texas. 78211. Sure, why not? Where are you supposed to put the tab stop? In this exercise, it says to put it at the 3.5-inch mark. The 4-inch mark is also acceptable in most circumstances, but the 3.5-inch mark is where we're going to put it today. Remember to do it on the bottom half of the ruler. If you try and put stuff in the top half, it doesn't like it and it won't do it. All right. So, Mr. Bob Ross, 123 Main Street, San Antonio, Texas, 78211. Okay. So that's our Bako return address. Now we're going to press enter once, twice, because this one's going to be a blank line, and this is where we're going to type in our next information. And that information is going to be a date. Okay, and the date that we are going to choose, we can type in the date, or we can use the Insert tab. Everybody click on that Insert tab. And look into this text area. The text area. You see the word text down here on the Insert tab on the right-hand side. Text box is the big one, but we need the little bitty one that says Insert date and time. But if it doesn't say Insert date and time, what it will say is a little calendar-looking thing with a little clock. Okay, and you click on that, and we can choose various different kinds of ways to write out the date. Let's go ahead and say this version here, that's the first one, which is 10/14/2020. Okay? Now, we can check this to update automatically. It would be cool if we did that. And later on, if we ever write this letter again, we can just hit the update button and it will update it automatically for tomorrow's date or the day after's date. Go ahead and say okay. But what did I do wrong? Is the date one of the things that belongs on the right-hand side? Yes, it is. So to correct that, watch this. Your blinking cursor, take a look at it. It is after the box, but if you click on the date, it's actually a box. It is a complete unit. It is not a thing that should be messed with internally. You can, but you shouldn't. So you can either press the home key. Everybody look on your keyboard above the arrows. You will have a little word that's a little button that says home. If you press home, remember it takes you to the front of the sentence. Okay? It takes you to the front of the sentence on that line. Now press tab. Ta-da! It goes over to the side. Now, next to home is probably end. If you press end, it'll jump you to the end of the line. Now you're on the other side where the 2020 is. Now you can press enter twice again. Okay? So now we're sending this letter normally. We're not going to certify mail it. We don't need to. So the next thing that pops up that we're going to need to do is an inside address, and that is the address that's provided here. All right? So this letter is going to Mr. Scott Lincoln. BIM teacher, McCollum High School. That's where I work. 500 West Formosa. And strangely, in San Antonio, normally we don't put drives or avenues or whatever. And I don't know what it is with this town. It's like nobody does that. It's like nobody really cares if it's a drive or an avenue or something. Okay, and San Antonio, Texas. 78211. Enter twice after that. Okay, so like I said, this is a formal business letter. Are we chums? Are we pals? Do we go out and hang out on the weekends? Anybody? Is anybody here like my super duper friend and we go and hang out and like we go to movies together or anything? No? None of you go? Oh, that's right. That's right. You're all students here. So this is a formal business letter. So how do we address me? How do we do the salutation? How do we do the dear so-and-so part? Dear who? Dear Mr. No, don't put my first name. Dear Mr. Lincoln. There you go. Don't go first names. Dear Mr. Lincoln, comma. Press enter. Twice. Need a space in between the Dear Mr. Lincoln and the paragraphs that we're about to do. Okay, we can also do a subject. Let's go ahead and say subject. Sometimes people capitalize subject, where most of the time they just say subject colon space. And we're going to say the subject is your class. Let's go ahead and personalize this a little bit. What period is this? Whatever period it is that you happen to be. This and the people in front of me is second period, but you at home might be an 8th period kid, so you could say your 8th period class. Everybody in the classroom right now, let's go ahead and say your 2nd period class. Notice that word does something fun. When you type in 2ND for second, notice that it automatically does something to make the numbers smaller and kick them up to the higher level. This is a thing called superscripting. Okay? Superscripting is what they call it whenever you take letters and you put them up to the top of the list but smaller. That is on the Home tab actually. You can actually find it right here in the fonts area. It's called superscripting. What do they call it whenever you put the numbers on the lower half? Remember what kind of thing I did in the Navy that goes under the water, below things? A submarine. So this is subscripting. So superscripting, like Superman, it flies over things. Subscripting goes underneath stuff. Okay, so second got superscripted. 2ND got superscripted to show the ND part up here at the top. Okay, press enter twice after the subject. Now it's time to talk turkey. What are you trying to bother? I mean, talk to me about. Let's see. What kind of things are we trying to do? We need 4 paragraphs after the salutation. First paragraph. I've been in your BIM class for 6 weeks now. Technically, you're in the second 6 weeks. I really like, name 3 things that you like about this class. Because, and then give me some reasons. Now, if you hate this class, for the purpose of this exercise, you love this class and it's awesome. So just like, I like this class because you hand out yo-yos every day. You know, make up something just to have some words to talk about. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. I have been. Now, if you're good at typing, you could be like me. I'm looking at the monitor right now. I'm looking at the words that I'm typing out on the document right there. That's how you get faster at typing. You get comfortable enough with the keyboard that you can actually look at the things that you're supposed to be copying to type instead of looking at the keyboard to see where your fingers are. Okay? This is why practice is very important for keyboarding, and you're only going to get better at it by typing the correct way. You can type all you want the bad way, but you're never going to get that good at it. You type the correct way, then you can truly improve. So, I have been in your BIM class for 6 weeks now. I really like. What's the thing that I could say that we like about this class? I really like your personal style. You are an excellent dresser. With great fashion sense. This is all a complete lie. I wear polos and slacks every day. All right. Also, comma. Now, you guys can like make up some stuff right here. You can do whatever you want in this section. Okay. You don't have to copy what I'm saying. You can type up whatever you want. Think of things that you like about this class. Also, I like how you post the videos of the lessons to the Google Classroom. It makes it easy for me to find them and learn what I need to know. Finally, let's go with finally for the third point. Finally, I appreciate your punctuality. I'm just kidding. Sense of humor. You make class interesting with your funny jokes. Okay, once again, you don't have to write this. I'm just, screwing around. I'm just making up stuff. Probably most of you guys are like, oh my God, Mr. Lincoln, you have nothing but dad jokes and they're awful. I don't mind. You got to keep them entertained somehow, even if it's to be groaning and saying, All right, now, press enter twice. Okay, there are a few things I'd like to change about this class. You say so far, like it says in the document. Or, I'm sorry. I think that's what changed about this class. One of those things would be that we start late sometimes because you're still doing first period. First period's live stream. Okay? Okay? Let's just go ahead and say we're just going to do one bad thing. Sound good? We'll get this show on the road a little bit. If you could try to start on time, that would be beneficial. Beneficial, which is a fancy way of saying good or better. Okay? Press enter twice. There are a few things I'd like to change about this class. One of those things would be that we start late sometimes because you're still doing first period's live stream. If you could try to start on time, that would be beneficial. Okay, press enter twice after that. Get a space in between paragraph 2 and put in the next paragraph. Let's skip 3 for now. I think you guys get the idea. We'll move on to the last part. Okay, so we have talked about things. We have had a call to action, something that we would like to see changed and we need the person to do. And now it is time to be professional and wrap it up with some kind of thank you. And I look forward to hearing from you kind of stuff that we always finish up our documents with because that's a very professional thing to do. Okay? All right, now last paragraph. Thank you for teaching me so much. I look forward to the rest of the year because, and now we can go ahead and say something nice that we look forward to for the rest of the year. For you online people, you could say something like meeting you in person because you've never been to class and you have never actually met me yet. So, because I will get to meet you in person. Okay? Or it's some other thing that, it's like, I look forward to the rest of the year because one day it will be over. whatever it is you want to say. Okay, now press enter twice. Now we get to the part we could say close with sincerely. Okay, me personally, I like to use stuff like respectfully and very respectfully. Okay, but where does that go? Does it go over here on the left-hand side with everything else? No, because this is a modified block letter. So we still have our tab stop available. Every time we pressed enter, that tab stop was still there, so it passed it on to the next one. So even though in this entire section we never used that tab stop, it still remains as something that we can use at some point. Okay, so press tab. Your tab stop should still be there. If it's not, just create one. Again, just go ahead and click into the ruler on the 3.5 inch mark and create a new one. And we're going to go ahead and say sincerely or respectfully or very respectfully or thank you again or something like that. I'm going to say it very respectfully. Okay, now, if we are going to sign this by hand, because this is one letter to one person, we press enter 4 times. And then we tab over, and then we type in, oh, that's right, I'm Bob Ross. Now you type in your name. Press enter, tab over, and say whatever your case may be, 5th period student, 2nd period student, whatever you happen to be. I'm going to say I'm a 2nd period student because that's what class we're in right now. Now, if we were to send something with this letter, for example, you're trying to like butter me up and you know, like send me like a nice card or something like that, or you know, like if you are like trying to like pay off your bills or something like that, you're sending a check or something like that, you would type in the word enclosure, and then oops, wow, enclosure. And then you would say what it is that you're sending with me. For example, like check or gift card or greeting card or brochure or list of things that you could improve on. Whatever it is that you happen to be sending with you. If you would just like type up that stuff, then you would put enclosure on there and show that you are sending that kind of stuff with it. Okay. Let's go ahead and say we're going to copy this to somebody though. We're also going to send this to my boss, Mr. Mario Garcia, because you want him to know what a great job I'm doing. Okay. So copy to Mr. Mario Garcia. And he say comma space, and then say CTE department head. Okay. Now press enter. Now we can also send it to Mr. Marroquin, the principal. But if you just start typing it, it's going to start typing here on the edge. So if you press tab, it'll only go, uh-oh, it goes way over here, doesn't it? So let's put a new tab. Let's do something a little bit different, okay? On your copy to line, highlight or click somewhere in your copy to line. Highlight or click somewhere for your copy to line. Go to your ruler and click. See the half-inch mark is a little too close to that colon for the copy to. You can see a line that goes down the screen saying this is where the words will start. It's a little too close to that colon. It won't do anything really very well. So let's move this and put it at the 1 inch mark. Okay? Put a tab at the 1 inch mark. Now, go in between on that sentence, go to the Mr., get in front of the Mr., and press tab. Now you have a copy to Mr. Mario Garcia. Is that too far? Some people would say yes. You could move it, scoot it in a little bit. Maybe to the, so grab it and move it to the 3/4 mark. Okay? Two notches in from the 1. Okay, that pushes it a little closer. Now go to the end of the line where it says head, go to the end of the line, press enter, press tab, and now Mr. Ricardo Marroquin, principal. Now, do you see how these two people's names line up? These two people's names line up. So the copy to shows both of the people that it's going to. But instead of it being Mr. Mario Garcia, and then way over here for no apparent reason, Mr. Ricardo Marroquin, now they both line up in the same spot. Okay? But you had to put a new tab stop in to make that happen. You couldn't just tab, because if you did, you would end up over here where everything else is, right? So you got to use that new tab stop to make it stop earlier than that. Capiche? All right, good deal. Now, you may save this if you want to. You can do what you want with this document. It's great, it's fine, it's dandy. Now, for a project, we are going to have a document that you are going to work on, and you're going to turn into the Google Classroom. It is going to be a letter of your own creation, similar to what we just did. This time, though, if I can ever get it to pop up. Come on now. This is going to be a letter to your senator. This information is slightly dated. The person who we are writing to is not the senator anymore, because he got in a lot of trouble and got arrested. But back in the day, your senator used to be a guy named Senator Carlos Uresti. And he used to go, back when he was a kid, he went to McCollum High School. So you've got a connection. Yeah. All right. So you would like to get some things done down there at City Hall or State Hall or the United States Hall or whatever. And you want to write to Senator Uresti letting him know about a particular topic that you have interest in. In this case, anyone seeking food stamps or government assistance of any kind in states like Florida, they passed a law that said you want government assistance, you have to pass a drug test. We don't want to be giving drugs to criminals, because those criminals are probably just going to take that money that we give them for food and go buy more drugs. So the state of Florida has this law, and other states said, yeah, that's a good idea. But some other states said, hey, that's pretty much a violation of your privacy rights. That person's not a criminal. How do you know that? So form some opinions. Think up how you feel about this subject. If you would like to, you may go online and research this topic on your own and get more facts than I provide for you here. But here's what you're going to do. Let's say that Governor Greg Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick want to have the same policy here in Texas. They're thinking of writing up legislation and putting it to a vote. You want Carlos Uresti to know your opinion. If you like it, you want to tell him that you like it, and here's why, and you want him to vote for it. If you don't like it, you think it's a terrible, awful idea, you will tell him it's a terrible, awful idea, and here's why. We're going to use the modified semi-block letter format, which basically means those things like the date and the sincerely and your name are going to be kicked over to the side. And also, your first line of every paragraph is going to be, poof, that little ½ okay? All right, so modified semi-block format is how we will do this kind of stuff. Okay, things to think about. I've got a few things to think about. People who have thought about said subjects, opinion writers have written about these kind of things that you can think about as to whether or not your opinion should be one way or the other. And then you will write the letter, okay? Addresses for the letter. The inside address will be this stuff here. The return address will be this stuff here with your name. Some salutations. You can use dear. You can say hello, Senator Uresti. You can say greetings, Senator Uresti. The senator is a very vain man. Be sure to use senator. Don't just say dear Mr. Uresti. He is a senator. He should be addressed as such. Okay? That is what our project is going to be. All right, folks. See y'all later. Don't worry about cleanup. I will handle it.